Hello, my name is Ron Chatelier, and this is my project for software design patterns. Now, what I did was I used an old project from my past Programming 2 class where I created a 2D platformer within the Unity engine. Now, there's a lot involved with the Unity engine that I cannot go over today because there's just a lot of processes, but just know that I used the C# language in order to develop this project, and the main idea behind it is me having refactors involved. And what I wanted to do exactly was have my character here be able to do a double jump by focusing on the movement class. Now, there are other classes involved, such as the character controller 2D, collect object, graphical user interface, and object. But if I wanted to involve the double jump feature, I had to focus on the movement class, which I have right here because on the Unity engine, you're able to open up the class itself, have integrated with the Visual Studio application, and have been open up just like this. Now, what I wanted to focus on was having new rename methods, extract methods involved, adding a parameter towards jump, and basically having all of this will basically allow my character to run. If I wanted to explain exactly the axis of how the character moves, because for example, as I input with the WASD key, or either going just A or D key, I can move left and right, which this will be an example right here. So I click on the play button. My character is moving left and right, but because of me having the class extracted, right here, basically now my character is able to jump because I'm able to separate it with the fix update, and that's also having the extract method as well. And basically now it allows me to do a double jump just like this. So 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2, so you get it. Normally it would used to be only one jump, but since the extract method is able to separate the two functions from one another, which example as I showed right here with fix update, as well as get button down, which has the jump parameter, it allows my character here to do a double jump now, which is the main idea behind this. Now, I do have more information about this on my GitHub page, where it goes over the game itself, the main idea about it, in which you go around and you collect batteries as you move around, as well as having the diagram involved, which mainly will be the movement class. And the reason for this is so that as the character is moving around, you have the classes involved, and I just want to make sure that it would make sense on how it functions overall. And the idea of how it was before was the class itself was more integrated. It wasn't like separated. So for example, with the fix update use here, I used to have it within the update itself, but because of that, my character wasn't able to get the double jump feature, which obviously is not what I want. I want to have a double jump feature. So I decided to make fix update as its own private void. And because of that, I'm able to add a constructor to it, and it allows me to have more involvement with the horizontal movement, and as well as having the jump involved. And really, it just allows the character to have more freedom involved as you want to move around with the character. Now, one thing about my GitHub page is that while I was going to do commits with it, I decided to do all the changes within the Unity engine, because with the Unity engine, you're able to do all the changes and keep track of it on the right side of the page itself, as you see right here. And that goes for the other classes as well, such as object, graphical user interface, control collect object, and character control 2D, which you do want to keep track of those because my character himself also does have the different classes involved here. So for example, with like the movement class, I have it right here as the script itself in C#. And also because of how I constructed it, I'm able to change the movement speed of the character, as well as having a flag within the character itself so that he can have the double jump feature as you see right here. So again, 1 2 1 2. And going over more of the idea of my project, I did involve it in my LinkedIn, basically explaining how I did it in my Programming 2 class and how I was able to get the idea of how I want to get more involved with the Unity engine and learn more about it. And also since because of me having the usage of design patterns such as bad smell codes or just having more ideas of how to get around the function itself, I had the idea of just making the code more condensed and make it more understandable because before I really didn't get the idea of how extensive it was. And that's because back then I didn't know much about refactoring. But since I learned it, I'm able to make the code more condensed now and make it more understandable. Which another example I set with this was with the horizontal movement, which will be this right here. And basically, how it works is as the character is moving, the character will be is running, which is basically the character's running speed, which I showed off right here with the movement speed. So running speed, movement speed, same idea. And the idea I want to get through this is show that how I want to implement more of the features within the game, because while the double jump feature will be more involved, I want to have more involvement with how the character will be moving throughout the environment, because I do have platforms as well here that I want to move around in, and just overall having the refactors help out with making the code more understandable as well as running more better, because also a big factor was the amount of time it will take the code to run, because as I can show as an example right here again, it's gonna reload all the scripts and it took like about 6 seconds at least. Before it took about 20 seconds because as the code is going through all the different classes, you just got to go through all of it, and overall it just takes more time for it for the most part. And if there's one thing I want to evolve as well too with my LinkedIn, I have an involvement of the different usage of the classes themselves, and just have a better idea of how they'll be used overall and the overall idea of how they'll be used. And just overall having the ideas of our factors will help out with the project. And as I worked on more code in the future and add on to more of this project, it'll help out the code being more condensed and overall make it more better to run and make it more better understanding.